see. Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's call. I'm super excited to share about this. Some of it will be new information for you all, and some of it will be things that we've shared before. But I just want to jump in here and just share 5 tips on growing your Instagram. And this is just going to be something that you can do like immediately and hopefully start seeing results really quickly. Joanna was so kind and created these super cool slides so that you guys will have visuals tonight. So you can see exactly what I'm talking about, because sometimes it's like, you're not sure where that thing is found that I'm mentioning or whatever. This is going to make that all clear for you. And we are recording this. So if you didn't get it all figured out the first time you see it, it will be recorded for you to come back and refer to later. So let's get started. 5 tips on growing your Instagram. So the first tip that we're going to go over tonight is the easiest one, and that is just to be public. Make your account public. If you do not have it open, you will not be able to be found using hashtags. Your reels won't go any farther than your own page. So you won't get views that you would normally get if you were public. I am a content creator. You can do that one or just like a public account. It really doesn't matter. But just make sure that you are an open account so that people can see what is in your feed, because then they'll decide, hey, this girl looks really cute, but they can't see that. So they're not going to know what you have to offer them. So make your account public so that you can also get your posts out there to be seen by other people. So number 2, this one's going to be flag and sort your DMs. So it's really easy to get kind of lost and just disorganized in Instagram, because if you reach out through your stories or just DM people, you'll find that you're just going to have like this continual scroll through your DMs trying to find people. And so one way that Instagram is easily to be organized is this thing that they do called flagging. And just this week, last week it was not there, this week it is. You can actually flag. So you can see this in the slide at the top right. So that's where you're going to go to flag it. So it's going to be in your message. So say I go to message Joanna, I click on her name in her messenger, and then I see the little flag. It used to be a flag. Now it's like a tag. This is brand new. If you haven't seen it yet, update your app and you should be able to get this feature. So instead of just a little flag, what is now going to show you is, so it's going to show these 5 options. And I really love the 2 that I have with a black line next to it. It's the flag one, and it's also the order. And the neat thing about that is that for the people that you're reaching out to about Plexus, go in your DMs and flag their names so that you can see them and what that will look like in your main feed. So this is where it will show it. You can choose whichever of the options. And then the last picture is where it will show. Okay, so in your main feed, the flags are on the right side. I have them circled on the right. And then the other option was order. Like I just picked that one. So these would be for people who decided to go ahead and order a welcome pack or a product from you. You can actually see the word in orange under their name now, and it says ordered. So then when you're cycling through your DMs, you can be like, oh my goodness, this girl ordered last month or last week, whatever, and check in on that person. And so you can unflag their name and make them into like the ordered option. So it's just a way to, like, as you're scrolling your feed, say you want to do a 20-person reach out. This makes it really easy to go find the prospects you've already touched, like the people that you've already flagged before. And then anyone who's ordered maybe in the past and they are not ordering anymore, or maybe just people who have currently ordered, is going to be that nudge and reminder to go check in on them and make sure that they are loving their products. So that is our second tip to get your Instagram DMs organized. This third one is going to be saving your prospects' posts to albums. If you've never saved a post, or maybe you have saved a post, but you've never created an album, this is the reason that you want to start doing this. You get in your feed, you've got all these friends, you see a really cute person, and then you go away from their account and you can't remember like what their handle was. You've lost them in the abyss of Instagram. And it's like, what was their name? And you have to like scroll through all the people trying to find them again. If you have a prospect that you want to start like networking and building a relationship, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to their feed. So you can see in the slide here, and there's a little save button on their posts, and you can click that. What that will bring up is, I think it says save to collection. So the save to collection, you'll click that. If you've never done this before, there will just be like a plus sign. And if you have done this before, just because you know how to make albums, there will be your other options down below, that whatever albums you've created in the past. So like for me personally, I've done this for a long time now. I have like a top 20. So these would be like, if I could have anyone in the whole wide world join me, these are my top like 20 people that I would choose. Like these are what we call our chicken list, people we're kind of scared to reach out to, dream teamers, whatever you want to call them. So I have an album for them. I have an album that I save people to that tell me, oh, in your next sale, I'm going to reach back out to me. I want to order then. So then I go and I saved their posts into my like next sale album. And so then when I have a sale, if I create a sale or corporate has a sale, I can then go straight to that album and I can find their names and reach out and be like, hey, you wanted the sale, it's here. So these next 3 slides underneath are just a quick way to show you how to even find these. Once you've saved them to an album, you're like, then what? Where did those go? So you're going to go, so on your main feed is the bottom left slide. And you'll see the top little 3 lines that are circled. Sorry, I'm trying to see here. And you click that and then it'll say saved. That's the next thing that will pop up. Click saved. And then it's going to show you over here on the right, the bottom right, is all like the albums that you've created in the past. So I have so many albums, but they're just all organized so that I can find people really quickly. Maybe even just, I have an album called posts that I want to repost. So I see a good post out there for like networking or maybe a good reel idea. I'll throw them into that so that later, if I'm not feeling very inspired, I can go get in there, look through those old posts of other people that they've shared, other Plexus friends or other network marketing friends, or just inspirational things that I found. And I'll have more inspiration then from looking at those posts for ideas. So the next 2 items are kind of like simultaneous. You'll find them in the exact same spot. So number 4, okay, this one is just something new that I started in October and November, and I really feel like it made a big deal. In fact, I mentioned this on our team chat recently because I do feel like it really was part of what helped me sign so many people in November. And that was just unfollowing people I'm following that are clogging up my feed. So what I said here is unfollowing content creators, and where you'll find that. So you'll go to where the people you are following. So that's on the right in your main feed. And then once you click that button, it's going to bring up your list of everybody you're following. And so what that does right there, that little right-hand circle, it shows on there the people, the content creators that you are following. So that could be anyone from like fashion people or home decor people, or even other Plexus accounts that are larger. Anybody in there that has, I don't know what makes a content creator. I don't know if it's everybody or if it's like a certain amount of followers. I'm not sure exactly, but basically click on that. And what you'll find is that you're probably, if you're like me at all, you're following a ton of people who, number 1, do not follow you back. And number 2, like they are content creators, which means they're constantly making content like every day. They're soliciting their item that they're selling. And that is going to go straight to the top of your feed. And what that means for you is that when you get on your Instagram to work your IPA, you're seeing all of those content creators and all of their posts, and you're not seeing your actual prospects. Those people are buried because normal people who aren't selling something don't post every single day and aren't always creating content the way we do. And so we want to find those people. So the way to find them is to start unfollowing some of those content creators. And you might be like, well, what if I really love them? Okay, so we go back to our previous step. We go to the content creators page, we click save, we create a new album so I call mine influencers that I follow, and I save them into there so that later, if I want to go look at her cute, whatever, I can still find her. She's not just gone in Instagram world. That way I can like look her up later, but then I unfollow her. After I've saved her into the album, I go ahead and unfollow. And what that does is it removes that distraction out of my feed. So number 1, I don't get caught scrolling. And number 2, it's not taking the spot of somebody I actually want to network with. And so it's really important. I've unfollowed over 1,000 people in the last few months. And I know what that's done is basically just flip my Instagram. So where I'm seeing people that I didn't see before, random people that I normally didn't ever see any posts they were making, were all of a sudden in my stories. And so they were seeing what I was doing more. And so I think it just really helps stir the pot, so to speak, and just get new visualization on your posts, which is what we're trying to do. And so right along with that, if you struggle within your Instagram, you're like, I just don't know who to reach out to. I only have like 50 people and they're all the same every day watching my stories. This last step is going to really like bring new eyes to you. And this is to go to the least interacted with. So if you see here in the circle, it's right above the content creators right there in that, it's the same spot. So you go to your followers, here you're following, and then these 2 options will come up. So click on the least interacted with, and it's going to be your like 49 people in your feed that you've not interacted with in a long time. It's going to show all of those people. So what happens is you want to reach out to 20 people or do your whatever, 50 reach outs for the month. You can totally go and just take that list right there and click on each of their names one by one, go to their feed, comment on their posts, like maybe DM in their stories, and start building new relationships. And that's going to get them like interacting with you. Maybe some of them don't follow you back yet. Maybe they'll start following you back. And it's going to get a lot of like new, just new excitement in your page. And then that list, that 49 of your least interacted people, it will change over time. So maybe like after you've reached out to those people, the next day you might find like a whole new list, or they might still be in the least interacted with category. So some of them might still be there. But basically it just really helps you like uncover people who you've been following for a really long time. And you might find that some of them you just don't connect with anymore. So just give them just unfollow, just let go of them. And you might find that there's a super cute gal that you're like, wow, we would be best friends if we knew each other in person. So go to her feed, save her to your top 20 album that you've already created, and start really connecting with her and work on that relationship. And what that's going to do is just get, like I said, new people to see your posts, new people to see your reels and see what you're sharing on there. They're going to see what your pink drink is, and they're going to be in your stories, and you're going to be building that relationship with them. And what you're going to find is that you're going to be signing some people up. So I hope all that, I know is super fast, but I hope all that was really helpful. These are just so simple, and they're things that I've done for years and that I think are just stuff everybody knows. But we were chatting about it in Scottsdale, and I realized that some people just don't know that if they don't really use Instagram a lot, or maybe they just don't know it anyways. So Joey and I were talking, and we just thought it was something that maybe it was like good to go over for all of you. Do you want to open it up, Joe, for any questions real quickly? I thought that might be good if anyone was confused. Hopefully, if you were, just go back and really look at the visuals, because everything's screenshotted, so you should be able to like see exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't have the options when you go to flag a message, you might just need to update your Instagram app, since that's a brand new feature.
Love that. And yes, let's do questions. Because there's one in the comments that says, how do you keep the safety of your kids and family from crazy people by keeping it public?
So, I mean, here's the thing. We're out there. You're out there anyways. You're already posting. Like, there's so much. We have so much DNA on over everything. Like, you may not think it, but like, if you've ever put anything out there, in fact, you can look your name up. Like, my husband and I have stuff all over that, like, I didn't even know was on there. Nothing bad. It's just your DNA is everywhere anyways. And so I don't know. I just give it to the Lord, and I don't worry about it. Like, he knows that I'm doing this to be a blessing to my family and bless our finances. So I don't really worry about that too much. You don't have to post your kiddos if you don't want to do that. That might be something that you might decide to just stop doing. And if you do that, go ahead and go through your feed and archive old posts if you don't want them in there. So you're not really deleting them, but you can go to a post, and in the file, you can click archive. And then you can go to archive posts and still see all of those posts of your kids, so you don't lose it. I've done that in some of my old posts, or even some of my posts that were like a little random. I just go through and clean things out every so often and get rid of some of those. But then I didn't lose the content. It's there in my archive, so I can see it if I want to. But that way I don't have like everything in my main feed. So if that is a concern to you, I would just say to just go through and archive some of your private pictures. And then, I would not say to start a new Instagram. That would like lose all your following. I would say just to archive anything you wouldn't want public, I guess. And then you still have it on there in your archives.
I love that answer. And Brittany asks, I know this might sound silly, but I don't use Instagram a whole lot, but how do I find people to add to try to get followers on there?
That's a great question. And actually there's several ways that we do this, that I do this. You can go to hashtags and say your jam is like farm life. Okay. I would go to hashtags about having a farm, or like just make up hashtags, find one that looks like there's a lot of people on there that have these like little farms or whatever. And then if that person that has the page looks like a normal, like similar human being to you, and is not like too crazy or whatever, follow them, just give them a follow. Like, I try to go to different people that do not sell anything. Like, I try to go to like larger pages maybe they're musicians, or maybe they're fashion creators, or just Christians of other sorts. I will go to their feed of people who aren't selling anything networking, like network marketing. And I'll go to people who are following them sometimes, and I'll just add like 5 or 10 friends. And that, like, I feel like we would be friends if I were to meet them in Walmart and say hi. I feel like those are the people I'm looking for. I don't just add like every person that comes up as an option to add. I also try to be really careful if I see a lot of our teammates that have that friend. I try not to friend them because I don't want to like mix up our markets too much, because sometimes, like, that happens with a tight circle. But that's one way. Another way is if you're following a person or one of your friends who doesn't do this, like, see who their friends are, see who's commenting on their posts, and see if they look like somebody you'd want to be friends with. If you don't have to have mutual friends. It's a different game. Facebook's kind of like, if you're a complete total stranger, then like, don't friend me because that's weird. But if you on Instagram, like, that's kind of like okay to do. No one thinks anything of it. If you have no mutual friends, it's still okay to friend somebody. And again, if somebody has a private page, I don't usually friend them unless I've met them before. But if they're a public page that I can go through and see their feed and see like, hey, this person looks like somebody I'd like to be friends with. Something that Joey and I were mentioning today while we were working is just like, be selective in who you're going after. Like, know your person. Like, don't just like go after every single person out there. Like, if you see this people and you're like, wow, she's whining and complaining all the time, or she's really negative, do you want to like go after that person and then have that on your team? Probably not. Like, just be really prayerful over the people you're accepting on your team, and remembering this is your business and you have the right to choose your own coworkers. There was a season that like, it was just like, please come to me, anybody and all. Yes. Okay. And that person that has to have a sale to sign up sometimes then has to have a discount if they want to order again. And then sometimes doesn't like the products and gets their returned. And then they're just like this, like, annoyance the whole time. And while we want those people to feel good and yes, they can order whatever, those might not be the people you're looking for. So remember, as you're going through and friending people, you're not just friending willy-nilly. You're like friending on purpose, and you're trying to find people that seem like somebody that if they decided to come reach out to you, you'd want to work with them. Like, they look like they would be fun to work with, add them. Like, that's what I would suggest. Joe, you want to suggest?
Yeah. And I think what can really help with that is write out a list of like top 10 attributes, qualities, character traits of someone that you want to be on your team. And so if you want them to be like fun, and you want them to be like whatever, like, I can't even think of anything. Clearly I don't have my list written out. What's your list, Katie?
I'll put it in the team page.
Katie wrote hers out. I have it started. I just haven't printed it out for my office area, but write out a list of everything you want in a person that like you would love to have on your team. And that can really help when you are going to those pages to look for new friends. And then we have another question that says, how did you get your video like that, where you're so clear in the background and you're so clear and the background is blurry?
Tap your picture and it'll say blur, and it just blurred the background. I don't know. I did it on accident and it just happened.
Oh,
So I was
like, I see it. It did it.
I did it last night on accident when I was on a training call, and I was like, I'll just leave it, because I was trying to unmute, and then it just did it again today. So I guess it's on there until I turn it off, but that's how it happened. So
cool. I didn't know you could do that. I just did mine. And then let's see. Susan says she loves the tip of not mixing up the market by being careful to not friend others who already have a lot of Plexus peeps following.
yes.
So
yeah. So on,
I
do the same. If I go to friend someone on Facebook and I see it, a lot of you guys following, or even just one of you, I try not to friend that person unless I truly like know in person. Like, I have 300 mutual friends and I really know this person, maybe just because I like having my friends on my feed. But like, if I see somebody on my team that is already following them, I try not to. I mean, obviously sometimes they slip through the cracks, but that's just been a kind of a general rule of mine that I like to do. And it's just a good one to keep in mind for all of us, because like I said, our networks can like cross wires every so often. And it's not like horrible, because we know people want to sign up who they want to sign up with, but it does make it not like respectful, but it's helpful for everyone to have their own little network. And I was going to go also with the whole having an ideal person. Jessica Heffley, in a training that Joanna actually shared with me, said that she likes to pray that God would send her people in her sleep. And what she meant by that was she prayed that God would send her foreign friends in Australia and New Zealand who see her post, so that like she's got a whole team working while she's over here sleeping in America. And so remember that too. Like you can go to hashtags, hashtag New Zealand, hashtag Australia, or Aussie, or look up their I feel like today or tomorrow is like Australia Day or something like that. Like go to those hashtags. We have global markets around the world in Canada, Mexico, other places that literally could work and have a team built while we're sleeping, which that's such a cool thing to think about. So just being like super creative in finding your networks and building in global areas as well, Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, Australia, like those are all places that our team hasn't really dipped in super strong yet. And I really think that the potential is enormous. So you maybe even grow your feed with those kind of followers as well.
So good. I'm loving all of these tips. I'm learning so much. Instagram is not my forte, but I am learning how to be better at it. Any other questions? No? All right. Katie, you want to wrap it up then?
Yeah. All right. Well, that is all we have for you all tonight. Thank you so much for getting on. Next week is Valentine's Day. So we're going to go ahead and not have, right? Is that right? Not Valentine's Day. Why was oh my goodness, we were planning this out.
We were just thinking about it. No, it's not. It's not till next month. That's okay. We were planning out in February. Look at us being like super organized.
I want it. In my head, I'm like, we're not having call on Valentine's Day. Do mark that down. There is no call on Valentine's Day. But next week, Joanna's running the call, and it's the last day of the month, right? Is that what it was next week? Okay, so next week we will have a little training, and then we're gonna have a fun time working together. Don't miss that call because it's the last day of the month, and it's gonna be really good. So thank you all for joining. If you do have any other questions, Joanna's gonna save this, I think, to YouTube or somewhere so that we'll have it to go back and watch later. Feel free to share it. And thank you all for jumping in.